Hey yo, G Dash, boy, take your hat off. Fine. This week on Hats Off with G Dash Jones. Y'all know what it is. Woo! Y'all know what it is. It's your boy G. Man, it's your boy G Dash Jones. Oh, I'm taking it back. It's your boy G Dash Jones. This is an episode of Hats Off. Yes, had a little technical issues, but we here, y'all. We here. Guess who made it? It's your boy G Dash. Oh man. Hey, let me tell y'all, my guest this week is gonna be my man, the cool kid generation. Oh, y'all don't know about my man? Listen, I'm talking about Randall Law. That's a fact. Cool color kid generation. We talking about it. His whole era. With that said, shouts out the chemical reaction. Oh, had to have the opening vibe. The opening vibe that you heard in the background, that was Benny the Butcher, that was Kale's Tango, local artist. You know, I like to put on for the local artists. Shouts out to my man Kale's Tango, got that Benny the Butcher, that was the opening vibe. Go look that up, okay? Boom. Today I got my man Cool Kid Generation. I got Eliza. Eliza gonna come on. She's gonna talk about how she got this whole art world by storm. Got a show coming up, Bing Bong, right? Also, November 18th, me and D Hard. What's the people thinking at the MKT Place Gallery, y'all? Oh yes, that deluxe ticket going to include a meal, an adult beverage, and edibles. And you're gonna get a show like that's a once in a lifetime experience. Woo! I don't know what to say. It's gonna be great. With that said, oh man, now it's time for me to get these guests on this vibe.
We can have a fruitful conversation. You see what I'm saying? Oh, there she go. There she go. Ah, they ain't ready for it. Talk about
What
it.
up, man? What
Oh,
up?
how you feeling?
I feel great. How are you?
Another day in paradise. You heard me?
I
You know what
heard
it
you.
is.
Heard you.
So okay. I ain't tell the people. Let me tell people. Okay. By the way, this is an inspirational artist, MC, uh, like between the written works, the painting works. It's a whole vibe. She goes by the name of Eliza, y'all. Woo! That's a fact. Tell people a little bit about yourself.
Ah, man. Okay. Well, I'm from Aberdeen, Maryland. Um, I've been painting. I always say I started in 2013 because that's when like I feel like the professional journey began. But I've always drawn and painted since I was a kid. I graduated 2012. Went to it. I went to school for it at Cecil College. Even went to the Maryland Institute College of Art for a little bit, and the rest is history on that part because I've been kind of working my way through Wilmington to making connections there. As far as the music goes, been rapping on and off for like about 12 years. I've been doing
Mm,
that kind of just on my own time. So yeah.
wow. Listen, I need you to know you said it. All I heard was the lady who was like, painting my way through town.
Hey,
So, with that said, right,
uh,
thinking about that. Now, I've seen your exhibits, right? By the way, if you want to hear some bars, I'm gonna just knock this out. If you want to hear some bars, go to Eliza. You can YouTube it. She got some stuff on streaming services. But Eliza got the pen that like if you looking for bars, I ain't gonna say nothing against nothing else. I'm gonna just say if you want lyricism, you know what I mean? Like you see how my shoulders move? You know what I'm saying? Like,
but
like right. See, you see how she did it? That's rapper hands, right? That you couldn't see her. She was giving you rapper hands right there, and that's how her bars come together. Now, the other half of what she does so amazingly is paint and create art, and I've seen her art. So, my question is um, with that said, my question to you is: you have the exhibit, the liberation exhibit, right?
yes, yes.
So that liberation exhibit, what is that like? That's I know that's going to be at the Soul Firm. Tell people a little bit about that situation.
Okay, well, I would say for the past year, me and six other beautiful ladies have come together and entered I would say, a new chapter in our lives that we've been calling the soft girl era. I'm not going to say the term was coined by us or anything, but Nataki Oliver has been the spokesperson and head of the movement. She's been really making sure to give not only herself but others flowers, and letting them show up authentically as who they are. And ever since we did that video shoot, I've been kind of reflecting on what that peace. I've been reflecting on what that looks like for me. And so been taking the time to just sit with, certain things like childhood traumas, how I show up as a woman, as a Black woman. And I wanted that to reflect in my new work. I know I've been doing a lot of like famous people and portraits, but I've been trying to step away from that and really cultivate some work that not only shows where I'm going, but where I'm at right now, because it's important to focus on the present.
So, all right. So, how'd you tie all that together for this showing, and how to you does that connect to liberation?
So what essentially what I did was I did a photo shoot with Joe Del Tufo, a Moon Loop photo. We did we went to a few spots in Wilmington, and I just picked a few fits. I'm like, how do I show up in the world? I know how people see me, but how do I see me? So, and I could show up at any given day. I could be G'd up one day, and one day you gonna turn around like, is that you? Like, yes, me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I did that, just kind of played with fits and styles, and also, but outside of that, because that's just strictly aesthetic. I've been doing some real work, like just sitting with trauma, and I feel like as we age, if you not work out the trauma, they say you're stuck at the age your trauma started. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking about just situations of people, how I show up. How does this trigger me? How does this look for me? How can I respond to this better? And how can I let it go? Ultimately, that's where the liberation comes in, because being a kid, the simple things are what usually brings you the most joy. So there's been a lot of inner child healing there. So just been reflecting on how that looks for me and how that shows up, like just stopping to revel in the little things, because sometimes day to day, we're so focused on the next goal, we don't realize we are exactly where we said we wanted to be probably 6 months to a year prior to that. We don't celebrate it. So just taking it slow, being more intentional about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and just making a little girl in me proud.
That's fire. Listen, I want to make the little ninja inside of me proud. Look, little ninja, you did it. I feel like I gotta ask this question too, though, because I'm curious. Mm-hmm. Even in that world, so when you look at when you paint, right, and you kind of get it out, you express, those traumas as you worded it. Now you look at this finished art. Are you looking at the broken from the healed? In my brain, that's how that plays out. But I don't know if that's what you see.
I would say, I feel like healing isn't linear, so it's never going to be truly done. It's not a cure. It's a journey. So you're going to see everything. There's going to be some healed parts. There's going to be some unhealed parts. You can be great. You can have a 3-month streak, and then all of a sudden something triggers you, and you were shattered for a few days. I mean, I think it all shows up. It's just in how you choose to view it. So
now when you look at the art,
mm-hmm.
Is it hard to look at some of the art? Like you look at that one over there, but like that mother, like I remember that. Like,
I would say this time around, for me, no. I think it's been so important because I can be very self-critical. So I've been taking the time to just be like, okay. So like day to day, I'm going through it like, man, I'm not on my stuff. I gotta do better and X, Y, and Z. But then I look at the pain, it's just like, you're here. It's a testament to where I'm at now, because I'm like, you're here now, and just be proud of that. So I look at it and I'm just like, we're doing it. So it's a gentle reset to the mentality for a bit. And I'm like, all right, just a good reminder.
So you paint these pieces, right? You
Uh-huh.
come up with this. You pull your heart into it. When I wrote my book, literally part of the question that I had to ask myself was, are you really ready to bleed? Right? Sounds like, and I've seen your previous art. I'm pulling up to this one too, but your previous art was more you looking outside of you, like you painted like the last one where it had like you had everybody from Pam Grier, the Outcast, like the
Yeah.
vibe, right? Boom.
Yes. Yes.
But now that was outwardly. This is all
Yes.
internal. So when you created these pieces, did you say to yourself, are there any pieces that you're like, I can't sell this or I can't put this out? I can't, this guy stay at the crib. Or was you like, listen, I'm giving it to the world?
It's funny. I didn't really think about that this time around. I haven't been to that point yet. I think that's another big part of deliberation, like letting it go. So I'd be happy to see this in somebody's home. So no, I haven't really thought about it like, no, I'm keeping this for myself. It hasn't been a thought. They're all for sale, so.
Right, because at the point in which you put it out, it's out.
Mm-hmm. It's no longer mine.
Oh, talk about it, yeah. Listen, that level of 100, is that hard to do though? That feels like is that, or is it?
It was.
Once you're there, you're there.
It was in the beginning because you're relinquishing control. Like, it's like, oh, where does this go? Who's going to keep it? Who's going to have it? You know, where's it headed? You know, that sort of things are going to be taken care of. At that point, it's just like, it's almost like, you know, watching your children grow up. You got to trust that you raised them right to know that they know what they're doing. Now, it's not only trusting them, but trusting yourself and your abilities. So I look at them like my babies. I ain't got children, but that was my baby. So I'm just like, hey, I trust it.
Right.
I did my part. So
as you should. Now let somebody else see it and then be a little bit heal a part of themselves from it. Right.
Exactly. Each one teach one.
Man, I'm here for it. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Get your tickets down for the Worcester People Thinking live music and spoken word improv experience with G Jones and D Hall at the MKT Place Gallery. We got food on deck, we got drinks on deck.
Gon' pull up a seat and pull you a shot, then head to the floor, give it all that you got. See my band gon' play and it ain't gon' stop. Said there's no one left in this whole damn spot. We gon' rock, we gon' roll, we gon' roll, we gon' rock, we gon' rock, we gon' roll, we gon' roll.
Let's talk about it. By the way, and I normally don't read comments on my show, fun fact, just because I want people to read it back and they can't see it live. The only reason why I'm mentioning that right now is because literally my man Shannon Lally put a comment and shouts out to Pink Gumbo for breast cancer. Go and check out that Pink Gumbo situation. If y'all don't know what it is, right? You know what I'm saying? Check out the Pink Gumbo. It's going to be like it's hosted by Naja Nicole. It's an all-female lineup. I don't even promote just random folk, but that's my man, and it's for a good cause. So shouts out to Shannon. With that said, I like the segue, right? I can talk about how he got that Pink Gumbo for a good cause, right? And then if I pivot, I'm gonna get to you. It's your good cause, good brother. He goes by the name of Randall Law, aka the Cool Color Kid Generation. Say what? That's a fact. Okay, 100 shoe giveaway. What? Yes. Oh man, and I ain't even mention the name yet, right? I just keep saying Cool Color Kid. I ain't mentioned the K's involved. But before I do all of that, my man, good brother, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
My name is Randall Law, creative director, designer, and founder of Cool Color Kid Generation. Cool Color Kid Generation is an apparel, nationwide, internet-based apparel brand, changing the narrative through apparel. We're taking the negative term KKK and we're turning it into a positive term to empower not only just people of color, but also those who support change with our hats, t-shirts, hoodies, street jackets, backpacks, sneakers. We're allowing the kid inside of each one to shine while building a legacy, breaking barriers, which also serves as a reminder why we are the cool and colorful generation. Now, our number one mission for providing these products is to leave a generational ripple effect that will leave a lasting impact on culture. So our main focus is to empowering individuals to think outside of the box.
So I gotta ask you. Let's back up, right? Because with that journey you're on and what you kind of put together with that whole thing, I'm kind of curious. How did you like start on that journey of being that creative and that design? Like, how did that even begin?
All right, so it started at birth, 1983. But other than that, I was always in the arts with in Wilmington, Delaware, at Christiana Cultural Arts Center. I took theater. I also did a lot of plays at church, Victory Christian Fellowship Church, off of 13 by the Walmart, and I also was involved in a lot of community theater. I went to Del Castro Technical High School where I studied behind the camera, which is video production. And then from there, I graduated at 16 and went straight to college at Philadelphia Art Institute. Philadelphia Art Institute no longer exists. So I took the same thing I did in high school and I did that in college. I did behind the scenes. So once I graduated there, I moved to New York City for 8 years, and I was at the New York Conservatory of Performing Arts, which is the sister school of NYU, but it's a 2-year conservatory school where I had the opportunity of being on All My Children with Rihanna, a lot of off-Broadway shows, and also I started off doing background work in New York as well. So from there, fast forward, I ended up moving to Los Angeles, where my acting career really started to, take a good spin for the good. So with all of my background in directing, producing, editing, and stuff like that, I also wrote freelance jingle writer as well for radio commercials and things of that nature. So just by being at Philadelphia Art Institute, being around people in fashion and culinary arts, because a lot of people don't know, being a chef is an art form as well. So I was always surrounded around a lot of people in the creative fashion, and I never thought I would, take a leap into like fashion like I am right now.
Okay. All right. Let's dial it back a little bit because you just said some things, good brother. You just said some things. By the way, shouts out to Eliza. Listen, again, thank you for joining us. I gotta just remind people that Liberation is November 3rd at the Soul Firm, 6 p.m. Go and see some great art. Now, and I'll circle back to that. By the way, Eliza, feel free to put a word in the chat. I'll use it later when I need a word. Now, as you mentioned all that, you worked behind the scenes of the camera, you worked in front of the camera. Now, mind you, you got a whole design clothing line there, right? So, like you said, like the pivot to get into actual creating a visual art like that, like a clothing, was that hard to go to from being so engrossed in like acting and like kind of like the more of that world?
It wasn't. How can I put it? The thing is that. It took a lot. So 16 years ago, I'm gonna back up a little bit. So I used to also work as a lead PA for the LA Film Festival, AFI Film Festival, and the Spirit Awards. These are like some of the biggest festivals in the entertainment industry. And at the time, I probably was like 24, 25. And mind you, I'm the youngest PA out of like, these guys are like 35, 40. They've been in the industry for years. So they were just like, yo, what would you name a band for shock value? And I was like, KKK. And they was like, what do you mean? I was like, you put a whole bunch of different cultures together, and if they potentially any good, they could really make history, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, with the controversy with the KKK and the whole spin with different cultures, it could really make some waves. And at that time, because I was the youngest, a lot of the cast was just like, nah, bro, like that's not gonna cut it. So it persuaded me to stop the idea. And then fast forward 2000, I'll probably say 2018, I saw this Gap commercial, and I saw it was such a dope commercial because it had so many different people of color and also different cultures, and like these colorful clothes and kids smiling and just really feeling like looking unified. So I was like, the idea came back, and I was like, ooh, I can make a clothing brand called Cool Colorful Kids, right? So then my homie at the time was like, bro, I didn't know anything about fashion. And so, mind you, that's the second person that persuaded me. mind you, that's the second person that persuaded me not to go with the idea. So I allow somebody else's perception of what I should do to catapult me into the idea. So then I saw, I would probably say 2019, I saw this documentary with Sam Cooke and the KKK. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it brought me to tears with the documentary, and all of the ideas start coming back to me right then and there. And I was like, I would say it was like a message from God almost, to where I was just like, I gotta do it. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I already know how to direct, produce, and edit. I have a sense of like marketing. I believe if I, just study a little bit about like how I could be different, I could put some marketing things together and really get people to understand where I want to go with this.
Okay. So let me be clear now. The evolution from a shock value to a whole brand. Did them Clux dudes send you a cease and desist?
What's that? No. Because you gotta think about it. Whenever we come up with an idea, a lot of people will sit there and have their own opinion about it first. But then they'll be like, that ain't going nowhere.
So now I'm curious. So now after you create this, so how did you know how you wanted the colors to go, the patterns, the designs? Like, how did you get into that how did that evolve?
So the crazy thing is interesting that you say that. The crazy thing is that I had like this dope logo, like this. I thought it was dope, but a lot of people were just like, we like where you going, but the way you going with it, with this logo, like my logo now is not the logo I started off with. Mm-hmm. I had 3 Ks in a diamond shape, like on top of each other, and they were just like, that's not gonna rock, bro. Like, you're not gonna get people of color wearing 3 Ks on any apparel at all. So I was so adamant. That this was going to transcend fashion, and this is not the teachable person I was, though, because I was just so adamant that I'm going to change perceptions, perspectives, and change the world, that I had like these blinders on, basically saying that I'm not going to take anybody's suggestions. I'm going to rock with this, and this is how it's going to be. But it took. I had drawn up some artwork, and I had met somebody. Online because I was loving the type of artwork they was doing, and I had did a whole bunch of other logos. But I asked this cat, could he make like this cartoonish type of thing, because I wanted to put it on a shirt. But he kept on trying to sell me on this logo, and I was like, no, I'm keeping the logo. So he did all the artwork, right? He sends it back to me, and guess what he changes?
The logo. He wasn't playing. He said, yeah, all right.
He changes the logo, right? So I messaged him back, and I was like, bro, didn't I tell you I wanted? Because I felt like he was trying to upsell me. Because when somebody comes up with something like, yo, but if you do this, I can give it to you for $90, and at the time, I was like, bro, I'm not paying $200. I didn't ask for this logo, bro. So he was so adamant about it, right? So after looking at it, it took me probably a good month at looking at the thing, and then it was like God speaking to me again. He was like, it's not about the cave. He said, it's not about the cave. He said, it's about perspective and perception. He was like, now, if you look at the logo that I have now, you can't really see the caves, right? So with the brand, we want to change people's perspective on how they look at certain things, and their perception on how they think about changing any narrative or anything that we have an ideal about changing, because we live in a culture where it's called selective outrage, to where we say what we can change and what we can't change, So that taught me a lesson, and a teachable lesson, on how, by taking advice from somebody else, and my logo is where it is today because I took that advice. And then after that, all of these messages and all these commercials just came out of me because I changed that logo.
Wow. like it's funny. I went through that too, by the way. I think that it's actually when you're a brand, you go through a stage, especially when you're a brand and you're doing a thing that exists outside of you, right?
Right.
So when you created your logo, that wasn't your exact wheelhouse. Like, so but you loved it because you did it. That was your joint. You like, oh, it's really going to scream, and the world is like, nah. They give you the Charlemagne, the Safari. That's
Right.
not it.
That's not it, bro.
You like.
My homie from high school, man, he loves my ideas, but he even told me, he was like, bro, that ain't it.
That's not it. Oh man. Okay. So like now you got your cool color kid logo, right? You got your color schemes. You got your you know now you know the vibe, right? So now because I know I was gonna go, but I gotta back up. So now now that you got the proper logo and the proper color schemes and all that, how do you know how it's gonna make money? Like what to sell and like, is it custom clothes first, or is it like how did you figure out how that was gonna work?
So how I figured it out was in 2019, I didn't know how to write a business plan. So I went to the True Access Capitals. I went to you name it, to like really True Access Capital, Women in Business, the Small Business Association, to learn how to write a business plan. Because I knew, I said, in order for me to write to do this, I got to do this thing right, because it's a stigma within our culture that when we have an idea, we just throw it out there without any planning sometimes. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna give myself a year before I really kick this thing off. So then my homeboy, he was over in Kuwait at the time, but for some odd reason, he's still viewing stuff that's going on in Wilmington. So he sent me this post and he was like, yo, you should check this out, man. They're teaching people how to do a business plan. It's called the Launcher Program at the West End Neighborhood House. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna check it out, because all my other experiences, people were like, gave me a book about this thick and was like, read on how to create a business plan. Mind you, I'm a visual learner. So I was like, bro, I need to get this idea out now. And y'all telling me to read a book this thick. So the Launcher Program provided an opportunity for me to actually visually learn how to do it. And then I went through like a whole, I think it was like, now it's like a shorter course, but I think it was dang near almost a whole year. And this was like right before the pandemic. So mind you, I'm going in with an idea. I got to pitch it in front of people. I don't know how to really write a business plan. I don't know where to start. So for the sake of time, because I know you got some questions to ask, man, I really wanted to give up. And after I went through that program, they showed me how to write a business plan. I was like, all right, cool. So now the whole idea felt more structured. You know what I mean? Like I was like, all right, cool. So I know I got a little something behind it that I can push with now. I don't just got this fairy tale dream that I want to come alive. Now I got something that's kind of like, it has a foundation that I could really stand on. I can walk into a room confidently and be like, this is where it's going to be.
So, okay, right. So now, by the way, and you should know this, I got to tell you this. Sometimes I talk to my people. Hey, y'all, come here. Let me tell y'all for a second. Listen, he said he just said a thing. Okay. He said a thing. So, and I need y'all to know that he said a thing, because if you don't know how to make a business plan, but you want to do a business, right? What he said was, he did not say he just started doing stuff. He did not say he just go to Google, but you can go to Google, you can go to YouTube. I'm not knocking that, but you can do those things. But what he did say was he went to professionals, the Launcher Program, write that down. SBA, Small Business Association, write that down. True Access Capital, write that down. Women's Business Center, write that down. I'm just telling y'all places where they offer tutelage, and once you start this path, they'll actually help you to where you need to go to get the money. They'll start giving you directions. They'll give you a little counselor, all types of stuff. So I just had to highlight that. Back to you, my man, Randall. All right. So, okay. I had to talk to you for a second.
Great, though. That's great, though, because the thing is, like, sometimes we skip past that, because some people, they only come on lives just to hear what they want to hear. But that's dope that you did that.
Yeah, well, listen, I need people to know, don't miss the gym. That's huge. Okay.
Right.
All right. So now you got the plan, you selling the clothes, and then you say, you know what?
No, I didn't sell the clothes immediately.
Oh, tell me about it.
So what I did was, I only made stuff for myself at first. So I needed people to see the idea first. I need people to see it. I needed them to see it. And the crazy thing is that I was always seeing cats talk about they got brands, but never would wear. I would see them in Gucci, Fila, and I'm like, don't you got a clothing brand? They'd be like, yeah. But why you not wearing your brand? Like, you wearing everything else but your brand. Like, so that's one lesson I learned. I was like, man, I'm gonna rock it. So I rocked it everywhere. And then after a while, once I really got the vendors that I wanted to, because I wanted quality. I didn't want to be just another logo on a t-shirt, because during the pandemic, when people was getting that money, they was like, it was clothing brands left and right. Everybody putting their logo in the same spot, on the right side of the chest, on the right side of the pants. I was like, I gotta find a way to be different. And what I'm saying is that we have to always try to find ways to be different, and that's one thing I was trying to do, and I'm still trying to do, because I know it takes steps, and I can't rush over those steps trying to just be different. It comes with patience, and that's one thing I'm working on right now, because I got a lot of big ideas, but it's all about like trying to hone those ideas and really do what works for you right now, but still trying to be different as well.
That's fire. I get it, and it makes a lot of sense. By the way, another fun fact he told y'all. Listen, people don't know this. 50 Cent sent all them G-Unit folks home because they wouldn't wear his sneakers, but they was being paid to wear his sneakers. But why you wearing Nikes if you being paid to wear G-Units? Like, you are part of G-Unit. Like this is really the mindset. I promise you don't see Ralph Lauren not rocking at least polo chaps or his brother joint. Like, he gotta like you gotta support you. I to be honest, when you see me outside, especially when I'm performing, but if you see me, like, typically if I'm wearing a t-shirt, it's because it's a t-shirt from a band, a group, or it's my merch. Right? We gotta support each other.
Bro, if you don't see me, if you don't see the top, I'm always wearing something of my brand. I'm always wearing something, bro. Always.
Yes. I'm glad you held that up, by the way, because also, and to me, there's a silent genius marketing to this on the low. But you decided to say that, hey, outside of just selling clothes, I want to give away sneakers. I want to give away not one, not 5, but 100. Okay, you know how hard it is to make 100 sneakers. People don't know how to make 100 sneakers. You gave away 100 sneakers. Can you tell us how any of that happened?
Well, one thing I would like to say is that I didn't do it alone, though.
That's right.
There are some people that would like to take all the credit, but I'm not one of those individuals. I actually had help. I actually reached out to community leaders, different companies and I went in and I pitched the idea of what I wanted to do, and they joined me on this idea. So yes, I came up with the idea, but I also know that I needed help in order to do it. So I reached out to multiple individuals. I'm talking about banks. I'm talking about establishments, to really bring this idea to life, because I had this dream one night, and I created these sneakers. And the thing is that I had took a drive over where I'm from. It's called South Bridge, and I noticed that South Bridge is not what it looks like anymore. Like, they knocked down. Basically, my childhood is gone because they knocked down the projects. And I was walking around, they knocked it down, and I walked over to the first part. The first part of the projects is still there, but I looked around at the youth, and I was like, yo, who is coming back to save any of these kids? Like, there's nobody. There may be some, but I was just like, yo, who's coming back to save these kids? So I was like, yo, I'm from here, so what better way to create something and not just keep it for myself, but also show them that you can do the same thing. You can do the exact same thing. But when you create something, make sure you give a piece of it back, so it could who knows what it could ignite in any child's mind to be like, they won't probably necessarily say, yo, I want to be a clothing designer, but it may say, yo, I do want to still be that scientist. I do want to be that doctor. You know what? I'm going to reach back. I may want to be that police officer. So I knew that if I inspired people in my community where I'm from first, it could ignite any kid's idea to explore, to be distinctly impossible.
Listen, that's why when they say representation matters, that's what they mean. Like, that's exactly what they mean, because I promise you, whether it's a designer or not, but it's a possibility that opens up a door for a kid just to be like, yo, you can make your own sneakers. Yeah, you can make your own sneakers. Wait, you can make your own sneakers in bulk. You can have your own sneakers in bulk without like you know we from the. I remember Kanye looking how sway. I remember that was a sneaker conversation.
Right.
People don't. I don't know if everybody remembers that was a sneaker conversation because he couldn't be able to get the sneakers and the clothes made without having to go overseas. And so people think that these things are truly possible without having to go through a major space to do it.
I'm thinking. You want some options? That ain't no problem. Debbie Allen's at the Wilmington Library, moderated by Daryl Hall. You know him as Ron Johnson. A pop-up DJ sets at the Nomad, Darnell Miller. That's Soul Sessions. In other words, a sonic healer. Is that the Delaware Music Network? Yep, it's them again. Gretchen Emery Band live at Finnegan's. Saturday is Open Streets. DJ Tim Dog going hard. All ages are welcomed at Baynard Boulevard. You don't know about Pink Gumbo? Don't want to miss it. This all-star lineup's donating proceeds to the Delaware Breast Cancer Coalition. We on a charity wave. Who cares who gives back first? I got K-Mac at the Comedy Corner at Bootless Stageworks. When the guitar's out, the Queen is good to go with the Collingwood and Dustin Minucci trio. You want the soulful vibe, smooth sounds? Come see Dyad at E Square Cigar Lounge. Sunday, you want some laughs? Well, tell me what you're doing. Seeing Eric Terrell at Midnight Oil Brewing. Mondays, Good Morning Wilmington. You better believe I'm there talking about my show with D. Harv, November 18th. Najin J gonna tell y'all how they set it off for her birthday. Thursday, it's a fact. Heal through the arts at the Automat. And tune in to Hats Off with G. Jones. That's me on IG. This guest this week, Malcolm Coley. Hey.
We reached out to people. How did you get people on board? Like, what did you do to get them to agree to this? Because I feel like, yes, like that's a
hundred prepare to give.
Hold
So
on. Hold on 1 second, good brother. I gotta tell people, not because it's not just 100 pair to give. When I look at this year's event was a little bit more than just 100 pairs. Okay, brother. They was out here. My man Radio Shack was like, you had a whole energy outside. Okay. I want to say you had Grouchy Greg up in there. Like it was the 50 years of hip hop and William Penn. Like how'd you make that happen? It wasn't just the shoes, it was a world.
So the thing is that one thing when I set out last year to do 100 pair to give, I looked, when I came back to, like, you got to think about when I lived in Philadelphia, New York, LA, I was outside of Delaware. So I was seeing how events should be put together. So the thing is, I actually worked in events. So when I came back and I came to certain events, I was like, yo, they doing this all wrong. Like, and then also I looked around, I was like, where's all the stuff at for the teens? I see y'all got all these events for the adults, the Jazz in the Park, the Strawberry Fest. I'm like, yo, y'all spending all this money on all these events and y'all complaining about the youth, but y'all not making nothing for the youth. And if y'all are making something for the youth, y'all just telling people to set up a table, pass it out, and that's it. And I was just like, nah, we're not doing that. Because when I brought the idea to some people that would not be named, they were like, yo, they were like, just set up a table and pass out your sneakers. Why do you have to have an event? And I looked at them and I said, why not? I was like, do you know what this could do to transcend any child or any parent's mind? And they were like, no. So the way they kind of shunned me off, I was like, I got something for you. So I said, okay, in my mind, I said, I got to make, because I looked at other back to schools, and I'm not knocking other back to schools, but in my mind, I was like, I got to make my back to schools different than anybody's, because I want them to be so far outside the box that it's not just about the sneakers. It's not just about the backpacks. It's not just about the laptops. It's about actually empowering and inspiring this new generation, because they're learning in so many different ways that we didn't learn growing up. So I said their attention span is different. I gotta find ways to put people in front of them that are not necessarily from this state, or if they are from this state, they've done things, they went out, seen the world, and they're gonna come back and basically show the youth that I was you, I am you. So let's change the world.
That's fire. Okay. Now, with that said, right? So now you gather all these people, and then you gave these the sneakers away. To me, that was just like that was the thing. When that happened, I said, all right, we gotta talk. I need you here. And like the second I seen it, I was back there. I was like, we need to talk. I need to talk to this young man. Like, what we doing? Like, this is so good. So now, like, you started something based on flipping the title and taking power back and creating inclusivity, right? Then you expanded on it by building away inclusivity. What people didn't hear me mention, I'm going to mention it now. The secret genius of the marketing is if I give 100 people my sneakers, there's 100 people with my sneakers. Ta-da. Now, so like, if y'all don't get that, think about it later. You'll catch it. But that's a marketing move. Anyway, with that said, to be able to help yourself and help others, fire. And that leads me to the question of when you look at the kind of the social viewpoint that you had when doing all of these things.
Actually,
what do you feel like that?
I'm sorry to cut you off. H just joined. H is from D. He's an alumni from Del Castle. That's the gentleman I was telling you about that didn't like my first logo. But he was honest about it, though. He was crazy honest about it. He was like, yo, bro, that's not it, Randall. That's not it.
Yo, H, shouts out to you because you kind of kicked him into a space where somebody else created something that it will never die now. Like, it's always, it's going to just feel like...
Shout out to H doing his thing out in Tampa, Florida.
So what made you, what do you feel like is the impact of kind of that social and community outreach that you kind of drive for? What do you kind of feel like how do you feel like it hit?
Say that again? I'm sorry, you broke up.
How would you describe the impact of your social and community outreach with the Cool Color Kid generation?
How I would describe it is basically it's far from myself. The thing is that being able to reach back and ignite, mind you, growing up, I was, I'm not going off subject, but I'm gonna just rewind just for a second. Growing up in Southbridge and things of that nature, but then also growing up fully deaf in my left ear. Back in those times, I'm an 80s baby. When you had a disability, they automatically put you in special education. So with that, I had a few odds against me when I was younger. But the thing is, by being in special education, I was always told by my teachers that, yo, we don't know why you in here. You're smart. So imagine a kid hearing that he's smart, but when you look around, you're in a classroom full of people that are considered stupid, but not all of them are stupid. So basically, I had a lot of identity things going on with me growing up, because when I would step into like different rooms, like being in Hollywood doing certain things, and I would look around, and basically things stemming from my childhood would play an effect in my adulthood as well. So being able to do the 100 pair to give allowed me to dig deep into my childhood to also inspire kids that not necessarily had the same road as me, but also struggle with with their identity, with certain things. Can I do it? Can I make it? How can I be more than what I'm actually just dreaming about, and things of that nature. So it's far from me, but every time I do 100 pair to give, I always tend to think about the kid that I used to be, always looking for something that could inspire me. You know, I didn't have my biological father around all the time, so it was Jackson Street Boys and Girls Club, being around different men. You know, I like to say Men's Magazine raised me, because I always would look into Men's Magazine and I would say, yo, these are the type of men I would like to be like, you know, like, well, I wouldn't say be like, but this is the type of, I would think like, this is what a man, you know,
is how a man carries himself. It's how you learned how to be a man.
Yeah.
Like, people don't get, without representation in the home or without representation locally, it kind of be like how you learn. Like, it be like we really just be out here figuring it out.
Right.
Salute to you as a father, because I know with that's one of the hardest things. If you ain't got it around, you just be out here like, I guess it's how to parent.
Trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out, bro. Trying to figure it out. So basically, when I do the 100 pair to gives, man, it's far from me, and I don't do it alone. The great thing is that I've had a lot of great individuals. I'm not afraid to ask questions. I reached out, shout out to Miss Sylvia Harris. She used to be executive director at the Boys and Girls Club growing up. She used to be like one of the biggest individuals in my life that always would just speak life into us as kids. And then when I came back to Delaware, because she is the CEO of Miss Juneteenth Association, I just reached out to her and I said, how do you write a proposal? I was like, how do you write a proposal to do certain things? And she gave me a blueprint, and then I wrote it, sent it back to her, and she was like, no, baby, you're not getting nowhere with this. And she basically like coached me through the process. She didn't babysit me, she coached me through it. And then she said, basically, look at the people in your network of who you know. Like, who do you know? You know this guy, you grew up with this person. Ask them. They're doing community events. Ask them how they run theirs. And then go to community events and see how things are ran and see what you can do differently. And I saw what I could do differently, but then I'm always pushing the envelope to do it even more different than I did the year before.
Okay. All right. So now, with that said, because we could keep going, but I do have one more question for you. If you could give advice to a younger version of yourself in 2023. So let's say we're going to take maybe that 17, 18-year-old Randall, you know what I mean? There ain't no cool color kid yet. It's just, they might have just called you R. You know what I'm saying? You might have been big Ran. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, Mr. Law, okay? Whatever that is, what advice would you give the younger version of yourself, but in this 2023 era?
It's crazy that you say this because I was actually, to make a long story short, I was talking to when I turned 40 last Friday, I was like, what would my older self tell myself right now? I had to ask myself, I was like, what would my 60-year-old self tell myself right now? It may sound weird, but to answer your question, what would I tell my younger self? I'm already taking risks, but just don't be afraid to jump even further into everything, because that's one thing I did. I lived overseas. I used to be on Carnival Cruise Line traveling and stuff like that. I know how to throw myself into stuff, but just jump more. Just jump more. Just jump more. Just jump.
Absolutely. By the way, and I asked this question because there's somebody who is a younger version of you out there, and they need to hear that. So I hope they do, because that's important. Now, what I want to say, and thank you for joining the show, I do a thing where I tell people, if you give me a word, I give you a poem. I'm not sure if you've ever heard me do this. And I'm telling you that so you can think of a word. And while you think of a word, I'm going to tell the people. So tomorrow, check me out hosted live, live at Finnegan's, Gretchen Emery band, Delaware Music Network. We outside. Also, next week, I'm doing another one of these. I think Malcolm Coley is on the guest list next week. It's going to be a vibe. We still cooking. And on Tuesday, I'm going to send out the hat tip where I just tell y'all about the things that popped off that's so dope. Lastly, November 18th. What's the people thinking? D-Jones, Harvey Road. We out here, y'all. Listen, get your deluxe ticket. Rhythm and Heat is going to be the seasonings from Rhythm and Heat. It's going to be Chef Rail cooking with the Rhythm and Heat seasoning. So it's going to be good for you, but tasty to the palate. And we're going to put on a show with poetry and music. We got the edible there. It's going to be included. Got a libation included. Get your deluxe ticket. Listen, link is in the bio. Back to my man Randall Law. My man, good brother. You got a word
I love how you be plugging everybody, bro.
No, listen, I want us to all win. Like, just say the accident. I really want everybody to win. Like, we up.
Right.
So you got a word for me?
Umpteenth.
Oh, okay. Okay, by the way, also, shouts out to Eliza. She got the Liberation exhibit. Listen, go look that up. They got the dates on there. She was up here earlier. She gave me the word transcendent. So the words I have are transcendent and Umpteenth. So I'm thinking. I don't want to stop, y'all. I don't. I'm gonna tell you why. Because if I stop, then I become everything that I swore to you I would not be. So, like, okay, what that means to me is that I also can't choose to allow them to do whatever they want to possibly stop me. I don't care how many times they done told me, hey, yo, G, you ain't never going to be whatever you seem to see when you look in the mirror, as if they really know me. Come on. Please believe. I'm transcending into a space where they're not supposed to know who I'm supposed to be. Like, how could they even choose to think that they could label me, put me in a box, and then make me only be limited by whatever they choose to see? Oh, come on now. Y'all don't hear me. I'm just a simple G, right? Who's been excluded from several rooms where they said that my life as a youngin came from a place where I was done in and I would only reach impending doom. Matter of fact, I've already reached a level that this is a position that they swore I couldn't assume. So now, okay, now they looking at me with disbelief, like, come on, G, this ain't really where you supposed to be. Colored boys don't move like this in these streets. Okay, I get it. I said I'm headed to the top. They told me that was a reach. Okay, I said, yo, we can all go. They said, bro, stop trying to preach. Okay, I said, yo, I'm about to bring my man Randall on. He's going to tell us where we all supposed to be. They said, nah, there ain't no need to teach. Okay, so see, this is where it perplexes me. And then I got to realize that I'm exactly where I need to be. And how many times do I need to make change to get there? Well, understand, I'm going to transcend Umpteenth times to be exactly where I need to be. Poem. You know what I mean? Something like, a little something that took you through some of the things we talked about, as well as highlighted those words. Thank you again, good brother. Thank you again, good brother.
I appreciate you, brother. Keep doing your thing. B-Dash Jones.
Hold on. I meant to mention Art of AI. Guess who's hosting it? Listen, Art of AI. Guess who's hosting it?
October 27th at the Delaware Contemporary. Be there at 5:30. Your boy, Randall Law, is hosting it. Linda Watson, the visionary, and Demian Denson. Breakthrough Inertia. Let's go.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm all for it. Again, this has been an episode of Hats Off with G-Dash Jones. Anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Yo, Cool Color Kid Generation. Be the change, we the change, wear the change. Cool with a K, generation.com. Let's go.
Listen, and again, thank everybody for joining in. Thank you for being amazing guests. All I got to say is love yourself first and enjoy the rest. All right? I'll holla.